There are some people who came against all odds. By all rights, you shouldn't even be where you are right now. If people went back and saw where you came from, it would absolutely blow their mind. You didn't come from good soil. You didn't come from good stock. You didn't come from a good neighborhood. You didn't come from a collegiate environment. You didn't come from the best situation. Some of y'all started out with the most atrocious situations, but because God was with you. Oh, let me remind you how to praise the Lord. Now that you have harvested in spite of where you came from, don't you get here and start acting all funny like you got here by yourself. When in fact, you're the first one in your family to be a doctor. You're the first one in your family to have a degree. You're the first one in your family to break through all the barriers and all the obstacles. You're the only one out of your class not locked up in jail, not locked up in prison. You could have lost your mind. You could have had a nervous breakdown. You've been through enough stuff that you ought to be in a mental institution chewing on a piece of cotton, and yet God's got you out here functioning and moving and going around, and you worried about a car. You ought to be shouting about your mind. You ought to be shouting about your head. You ought to be shouting about your leg. You ought to be shouting about your peace. You ought to be shouting right where you are. God has a blessing for you.